In the first lessons of this course, we have talked about the principle of non-discrimination. We have also defined the basic concepts we will use throughout this course, and we have briefly reviewed the history of the fight against gender discrimination. During the next classes of this course, we will cover the rights of women under international law. In this lesson, we shall focus on early legal precedents, the rights of women as human rights, specialized international documents on the rights of women, and political efforts and institutions. As female voters were being enfranchised throughout the world in the first half of the 20th century, the social impact of the second industrial revolution since the 19th century prompted a global concern for the rights of female workers. Thus, the International Labour Organization, founded in 1919, became a forum where women presented their demands for better conditions for female workers across the world. In effect, upon its birth, the ILO immediately addressed the concern of female workers, starting with a convention on the employment of women before and after childbirth signed in 1919. Later on, the ILO adopted a declaration in 1944, now an annex to its founding charter, stating that all human beings, irrespective of race, creed, or sex, have the right to pursue both their material well-being and their spiritual development. The founding instrument of the New World Order after the Second World War, the United Nations Charter of 1945, stipulates in its Article 1 that it is the purpose of the organization to respect human rights and fundamental freedoms without distinction as to race, sex, language, or religion. This formula for prohibiting discrimination was shortly after repeated in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights of 1948, which takes note of the fact that the peoples of the United Nations have in the Charter reaffirmed their faith in fundamental human rights, in the dignity and worth of the human person, and in the equal rights of men and women. In its Article 2, the Declaration proclaims that everyone is entitled to the rights and freedoms set forth in this Declaration, without distinction of any kind, such as race, color, sex, language, religion, political or other opinion, national or social origin, property, birth, or other status. In 1966, the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights and the International Covenant on Economic, Social, and Cultural Rights detailed the rights proclaimed in the Declaration and gave them binding force. These two covenants use the same formula as the Universal Declaration in their respective articles too. Regional human rights instruments: the European Convention on Human Rights and Fundamental Freedoms of 1950, the American Convention on Human Rights of 1969, and the African Charter on Human and People's Rights of 1981 also draw on the technique of prohibiting discrimination on the ground of sex, among others. The African Charter even imposes upon African states the obligation to ensure the elimination of every discrimination against women and also ensure the protection of the rights of women and the child stipulated in international declarations and conventions. Article 18. International treaties and declarations specifically pertaining to the rights of women may be classified according to geographical scope and specific topic. Regarding geographical scope, the foremost universal treaty on the rights of women is the Convention for the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, CEDAW, of 1979. CEDAW now counts 189 parties, being among the most widely accepted human rights treaties. It also has an optional protocol signed in 1999. Both CEDAW and its protocol shall be thoroughly analyzed in an upcoming lesson of this course. At a regional level, as early as 1928, a Commission on the Rights of Women was created in the Americas. In 1894, the Organization of American States adopted the Inter-American Convention on the Prevention, Punishment, and Eradication of Violence Against Women, also known as the Belém do Pará Convention. This convention will be further studied in a special class of this course. The Inter-American System of Human Rights also counts with a special rapporteurship on the rights of women since 1994, which advises both the Organization of American States and the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights. On the other hand, in 2003, the African Charter's Protocol on the Rights of Women was approved. Further, in 2011, the Council of Europe adopted a Convention on Preventing and Combating Violence Against Women and Domestic Violence, also known as the Istanbul Convention. Also, there are resolutions and declarations on the rights of women issued by other regional organizations, such as the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, the South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation, the Economic Community of West African States, the Southern African Development Community, and the Commonwealth countries. As to international treaties on specific topics, the political rights of women have been enshrined in an Inter-American Convention of 1948 and a UN Convention on the Political Rights of Women of 1953. Regarding labor protection, the ILO Convention number 100 on equality of employment and remuneration between men and women was signed in 1951. In 1958, the ILO Convention number 111 on non-discrimination based on sex was also enacted. In 1965, the ILO issued its recommendation number 123 to enable women workers to fulfill their family and professional duties harmoniously, a measure later complemented by the ILO Convention number 156 of 1981 on the family responsibilities of both male and female workers, and by the ILO Convention number 183 of 2000 on maternity protection. The status of married women has also been regulated in two UN treaties signed in 1957 and in 1962. Finally, several international treaties on specific topics, such as the rights of the child, migrants, people with disabilities, racial discrimination and torture, also prohibit discrimination based on sex and try to address the situation of women. Since the 1970s, 4 world conferences on women have convened state leaders and international organizations from all over the world. The first one took place in Mexico City in 1975, the second in Copenhagen in 1980, the third in Nairobi in 1985, and the fourth one in Beijing in 1895. After this last conference, states agreed on a platform for action in order to effectively implement women's rights. The platform has been periodically reviewed every 5 years until 2010, when it was concluded that neither de jure nor de facto equality between men and women had been achieved yet in any country of the world. At the UN level, since 1946, there has been a special commission on the status of women answerable to the Economic and Social Council. Later on, the empowerment of women was considered among the Millennium Development Goals agreed upon by states in 2000. Further, since its creation in 2006, the Human Rights Council has been seized on the issue of women's rights, holding special sessions and appointing special rapporteurs on the subject. The foremost landmark in these institutional developments is the creation of UN Women, an agency established in 2010 charged with the task of safeguarding gender equality and empowering women across the world. Thank you for watching this class. Please visit mooChile.com and keep watching the following lessons of this course.